All right, folks. I've got Janet Hurley, who works for in Texas with the Extension Service. She's going to explain what she does, and we're going to tackle the question of what the heck is IPM. Janet, welcome to the podcast.
Well, thank you, Franklin, for having me this morning. I'm so excited to be here. And yes, for those that are not familiar with who I am, my name is Janet Hurley, and I'm with Texas A&M AgriLife Extension. I'm an extension program specialist, and my program specialty area is helping schools with their IPM programs.
Got it. So this is going to be because I've been having some intense conversations. And when I mean intense, yes, there was some shouting and about what IPM is and what it isn't. And I'm getting challenged that what I am doing is not IPM. And because I do not follow the IPM pyramid the way it is in some cases, and there's some people who work in other states where IPM in public schools is law, where in Florida it's not. It's guided, but it's not a law that is hard in the books that you have to follow it a certain way.
And I'm very familiar with Florida versus Texas. Texas, yes, we have a law.
Okay.
And yes, I mean, because we've got the longest standing law, as a matter of fact. So, yes, but IPM, people get hung up somewhat on the pyramid, but also just hung up on what is it. And a lot of it is a lot of folks focus too much on the pest management and don't understand the integrated part of it.
Right. And so what I've been, and here is the way I've looked at it. When from an urban residential perspective, when we get called in, 99 out of 100, there is an active infestation. We can't start at exclusion. We
Correct.
have to start at chemical first.
Yep.
Because there is an active infestation. And yes, we can implement the monitoring, which we do in case of German roaches. Yes, we're going to have to then figure out how we educate the customer. But that usually, the pyramid is usually turned on its head, and it's chemical first, then we work our way towards how many of these things can we actually implement with a client that is not a school, that doesn't have a mandate, and it's their home, and we have to convince them to see it our way versus how many times are you going to spray a year for this? and what I've done is I've said, if I can get out of the 6 or 7, I can get that customer to 4. I've done IPM because I can't twist their arm and said, you have to do this. This is my home. I'll do whatever the heck I want.
Well, and it is. I mean, so, and here is the rub. There is a population that believes that if it comes in a can and you spray it, it will kill all bugs dead.
Yes.
And therefore, you're working with that premise before you even step on their property.
Yes.
Now, granted, and what I am seeing now is, especially, there is a shift. You will have a client that will say, yes, you need to come here and annihilate everything. You are going to start seeing clients that are going to be a little bit different about what their approach is and what they want.
Right.
All of it is still integrated pest management, because the ultimate result, no matter who the client is educating them on where that pest comes from, why it's there, and thus how do we get rid of it. You mentioned German roaches. Well, German roaches just don't walk in off the street.
Exactly.
Okay, that's a human to human contact, but I find that it's very hard for you, for y'all in the business, to be able to give messages to your clients that say, hey, by the way, here is the insect and its biology and everything else, and then accept it.
Right. Especially when we deal in cases of multi-unit housing where we're not managing the entire building. We get called in. We got a lot of condominiums here. Some of these things are $1 million, $2 million,
Yeah.
and they've got German roaches because they don't. The association doesn't understand that if a tenant moves in or bought a piece of furniture or something and it got introduced to the building, they're saying we can't have roaches because we have a pest control service, but they're only treating common areas. Owners own the individual units, and nobody's monitoring and inspecting, and nobody's getting into this. And how do you explain a customer that has a $1 million condo? This
Well,
whole
and I mean, and
concept.
that's where the frustrating part is, because there's someone like me in extension going, we know we need to get that education component out,
Mm-hmm.
but I find myself even butting my own head here in the North Texas area.
Mm-hmm.
I have a grant with Dr. Faith Oy, which I'm sure you are extremely familiar with, being in Florida.
Yeah, we just had a
And
lot of conversations in the last month and a half.
and we have this project to where we're trying to educate those, and we use the term homeowner, but I don't mean a homeowner. I mean the person who lives in a residence, no
Yes.
matter where you're at,
Mm-hmm.
from even if you were living in a tent to living in that $1 million condo and everything else in between.
Right.
You know, if it's a structure and you were trying to live there, you don't want pests. I
Right.
don't want pests.
Right.
I mean, full disclosure, you know, I have a company that does my house. Part of it is because I get to train them, and I can tell them to go crawl up and seal that hole where
Right.
the rats might get in. But yeah, it's a hard thing, this IPM stuff.
Right.